Hey guys, Yiddus for Game Range here, and today I'm going to be talking about F1 2011. F1 2011 speaks for itself. It is a racing game based on the 2011 season of Formula 1. What do we expect from this game? A variety of cars? Nope. Lots of different versions of each track? Nope. What we expect is some clean, realistic Formula 1 racing. We expect the tyres to heat up realistically. We want the punctures to happen when we hit the curb. We want to have to brake for corners. We also want everything that a real F1 season has to offer, including the teams, the drivers, the cars and the tracks. Codemasters, the developer of the game, have done exactly that. They've hit the nail on the head with this release. The game today is only a couple of months old, and it was released on the 20th September 2011. The game is available on the PC, the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. Alright, there isn't too much for me to talk about here. The graphics of F1 are what you expect. The designers have done a good job at replicating the track environments and the detail on the cars. All of the fancy buttons on the steering wheel of the car are also present. What could be improved? Well, to be honest, not much. I'd say that the car damage could have a little more detail and realism. The weather could do with a slight change and look a little more realistic. There's one thing that I've noticed with the tyre punctures is that they've always looked the same. The wheel has the same floppiness and nothing spectacular happens to your wheel. The tyre won't flail around like you may have seen happen to Sebastian Vettel at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix not so long ago. Another place for improvement is the crowd and the detail of the drivers' faces, but they are not all that important. What has bothered me a little bit, the celebration for qualifying in a top 3 position is the same for finishing the race. I want champagne! I freaking love the sound of Formula 1 cars. If they don't get it spot on, I would be really annoyed. Luckily, the cars sound just like they should. I love being in the pits and hearing the other cars whiz past. Though on the other hand, maybe not, because it means I'm dropping places in the grid. Anyway, the team radio is spot on. I guess they could have a little bit more dialogue, so there's always room for improvement. But I do find that these are just the fine details and aren't that important. It just all adds to the atmosphere of the game. The ground sounds cheery enough, I reckon. Crashing and bumping sounds are a little off and don't have quite enough variety. Alright, so now to discuss the all-important factor of a racing game, the gameplay. This is what defines the target audience for the game. You have two kinds of races, and those are simulation races and arcade races. Perhaps you have a few titles in between, but these are the two main types. F1 2011, as expected, is a simulation racer. They are trying to place you in the car and on the track. The only thing that stops you from being real is that you're sitting in your comfortable gaming chair behind your PC monitor, rather than what looks to be an awkward F1 car seat. What do I find great about the gameplay? Well, to be honest, almost everything. The game is so versatile in the difficulty settings you can choose, such as the ABS, the driving line, AI difficulty and plenty of other options. When it comes to the race, you can define yourself how many times you want to pit and when. You can also decide how long you want the race to be. For people who don't have the time, patience or concentration to sit and play for almost up to 2 hours. Personally, I do races which are 50% of the length, so with practicing qualifying stages included, a race weekend will take me just over about an hour, which I find to be suitable. Any race length of 20% or over means you get use of the safety car, a new feature to F1 2011. Other new features include KERS and DRS. For those of you who aren't familiar with F1 rules, KERS is a kind of boost that drivers use to get out of corners quickly. It stands for Kinetic Energy Recovery System, and DRS is the drag reduction system, which reduces the aerodynamic drag. Basically, it's an adjustable flap on your rear wing which opens and closes on command. You can only make use of your DRS when you are within a second of the car you are pursuing and are inside a designated DRS zone. However, in the practice and qualifying, you can use the DRS whenever you want. This makes the gameplay a lot different in these modes in comparison to a race. I just recommend that you don't use the DRS on corners because it will result in you sitting in a lonely puddle at the side of the track. There are just a couple of things in F1 2011 that get on my nerves, just a little bit. Beginning with the flags and warnings. While I think it's great that these things are in the game, they can be a little bit glitchy at times. I have been warned a couple of times for cutting a corner when I haven't been, and at the same time not being warned when I'm blatantly cutting a corner. The blue flag system to let faster cars pass is also a little bit sketchy. When it's applied to you, you need to drive a little slower or move off the racing line to let people overlap and you pass. I always make sure I am not in the way, but the computer AI still seems to take longer than they need to pass, and I end up with a drive-through penalty, costing me even more time. And when you're the car in pole position overlapping last place, he gets blue flagged and he tends to carry on blocking you and drives defensively. At times the blue flag works like a charm, and at other times it just seems completely pointless and useless. Another hiccup is the pit crew. Sometimes they just don't react to changes in the weather conditions. I've got a perfect example. When I was doing a race earlier on 50% length, and I was in the lead since lap 1 and had held that pole position for 33 of the 35 laps. On the 32nd or 33rd lap it started raining. My tyres were designed for a dry track, so I was starting to lose control on corners, resulting in me spinning out a couple of times, and Button could close the 30-second gap I had between him. While I still had 15 seconds on Button, I went to the pits to change my tyres, and the pit crew just put the same tyres on again. Or maybe they didn't even change them. Before going into the pits, you can decide what tyres you want, or if you want to save fuel, but sometimes I just think that the pit crew should know that themselves, as of course in real life they would. I ended up finishing second after leading the race for so long. As you can imagine, I was pretty butthurt. The online features are great in F1 2011. You can race against lots of other drivers, or you can even do a whole championship in co-op, online or split screen. Co-op is my favourite aspect to any game. I will always go out to buy a co-op game, given I have someone to play it with. It's always more fun playing with someone rather than playing on your own. That sounds a little bit dirty. The co-op championship is a lot like the single player championship, minus the ability to view replays, which I find to be a bit of a bummer. The single player career consists of starting as a new driver in a not so renowned racing team such as Lotus, Cosworth or Force India, and working your way up to the top, completing objectives as you go. You also receive objectives to complete in practice races to finish in a certain position, based on lap time. If you complete these objectives, then research and technology on your car will be improved. This feature is also available in the Co-op Championship. Last but not least, the game is perfectly compatible with a large range of controllers, including amazing compatibility with the Xbox 360 controller, as it is a game for Windows Live. The game also works great with a variety of steering wheels too. I really like this game. I don't often get sucked into a racing game. Yet with this I picked up more than 20 hours of gameplay in just a week, as I couldn't put my controller down. There are a few hitches, some room for improvement, but when there's a game in a series like this, be it Formula 1, FIFA, Madden, etc., it needs to have bits which can be picked up and improved in the following year. Giving all of what I have said, I'm going to give the graphics an 8.5, as they offer exactly what they should with small improvements possible on the detail of drivers' faces and the crowd. 9 for the sound, simply because the sound of the cars makes me shiver in pleasure. And 8 for the gameplay. The game is so realistic, the handling is great, and the drive is the adrenaline kick I've been waiting for. It's competitive with some brilliant AI. It may seem from what I said that the gameplay could use a lot of work, but the important bits are all there. It's just the fine detail that needs changing. Finally, for the replayability, a new rating which we are giving, an 8.5. Being a racing game, it already has an advantage for replayability. As long as it's good, you will always keep playing a racing game because you always want to beat your best time, and if the game offers an online mode, it's consistently challenging, meaning it's consistently fun. Racing games aren't completed until you can win all of the difficulty settings. This leaves F1 2011 with an overall score of 8.5. Thanks for watching this review. If you have any questions or criticism or opinions, please post them in the comment section below. If you like this video, then don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe for more gaming info. We really appreciate your support. I'm Aidan, or otherwise known as Yiddus, and I'm here for Gamer Ratings, and I'm out. See ya!